How y'all haters doing? What's up? In this video, we're gonna be talking about something that's a little different. It's not exactly about the MPL or MLBB esports, nor will it be something that I usually talk about. Today we're gonna be talking about Magic the Gathering. For those of you who don't know, I am a big tabletop gaming fan, and Magic the Gathering is one of the things that actually started it all for me. I've been playing since 2006, and I believe that was the time spiral block going into Lorwyn. And I had very, very fond memories. Second year high school yata ako nun, and I was a relatively lost young man. But through the help of Magic the Gathering, I kind of found what I really cared about and what I liked. And here today in this video, we're going to be talking about things that I learned from Magic the Gathering that helped me in esports. So, for those who don't know, Magic the Gathering is the biggest trading card game in the world. It was released in, I believe, 1993, and it was created by Dr. Richard Garfield, and it is published till today and made by Wizards of the Coast. So yeah, basically it's a card game, and it's a game played everywhere worldwide, and there's many different communities, and there's an online client for it called Magic Arena, and meron din namang Magic the Gathering Online, which is the older version, the more full version. But yeah, here we're talking about paper Magic because that's what I play the most, and specifically Commander or EDH, which is the multiplayer format, which is arguably the most popular. So in this video, pag-uusapan natin how Magic the Gathering has helped me in my life, and specifically in esports. How I take those lessons from Magic and how I use them in everyday life and in my career. So number one, it is a trading card game, and it is a very wordy trading card game, and basically that's number one. Vocabulary. Magic the Gathering has helped me build my vocabulary, and because of Magic, I have learned about words. I have learned how to use certain words, and basically my vocabulary is a little more colorful. How do I say? It helped with sounding more eloquent and intelligent, even though I'm not. So here's an example. There's a card here called the Oracle of Muldaya, and Muldaya is a made-up name, but Oracle shows up in a lot of cards, and then a lot of those cards interact with your deck or the top of your deck. So already meron ka dong context clues of like what an oracle is, right? So an oracle is someone who looks ahead. An oracle is someone who knows a little more than your average Joe. So already oracle. You're learning words. There's a card called expropriate, which is an actual word, and expropriation is essentially when you take something back or you reclaim something on behalf of someone else. And expropriate is a very notorious card. I'm sure a lot of people who actually play Magic or know about this card are already groaning, and it's exactly that. You're taking people's things on the board, their cards, or you're taking extra turns. That's what expropriate does. There's more, how do I say, bigger words out there that Magic has taught me, and one of them is the word confluence. Confluence, diba? Think about it, confluence. This is a card that's very wordy. It allows you to choose different things. There's like 3 different options on this. Confluence means the convergence of things, the taking different points and putting them into one, and that's what this card is. It's 3 different options in one card that can do all of those different things. Isn't that cool, Cups? Isn't that cool? That was just a few small examples. There's thousands of cards in Magic the Gathering's history right now that have weirder words, but essentially the story of the game, the narrative, the characters, the worlds, and the different beings and cultures in those worlds have taught me many different words, and that helps in my vocabulary as a broadcaster, which builds into the next point here. Magic the Gathering has helped me with my writing. Again, being a card game, this is your material, this is your bread and butter, this text box. And through the years, Magic has gotten better at writing their rules. And I think it's the same way with me personally, because I've gotten better at writing for work. There was a time wherein I would write and just use all the big words, and I would write and just make it the longest possible prose ever. And I thought I would be better for that. Kala ko magaling ako nun kung madami akong kayang isulat and kaya ko siyang gawing mahaba. But no, because of Magic the Gathering, among many other reasons, I've learned that if you can write something in the shortest way possible, in the best way possible that many people can understand it, that's the most effective way. So, you know, they get better at writing the rules. They can get you to understand how to do A, B, and C better. I can do that too. I can write my spiels. I can say things easier and in a way na everybody will get it. So, it definitely helped with my writing. Next up, of course, it's a game, and there's strategy involved. And I have used quite a bit of Magic the Gathering theory and strategy in esports. One big example is when I was the analyst and technical coach for Warcaster Force, eventually TNC. Back then, honestly, hindi ko alam. I did not have a complete idea of what to teach these professional players. Again, they're the best at what they do. They are athletes. So, who am I to teach them anything new or to tell them how to do their job? So, sabi ko, why don't I share something that is evergreen, something that in any competition or in any kind of game will make sense. And that's where I introduced to my players back then the concept of who's the beatdown. Who's the beatdown is the concept of knowing when you're the aggressor and when you are on the defense. And this was an old article written in 1999 by Mike Flores. And essentially, it's a lesson that, or a theory that works across any kind of game. Because in most competitive games, there is a person who, or there's a team or a side that obviously is set to be aggressive. And then another that is set to react. And then it's up to them who knows their role better and then who gets the advantage from there. So that's one. Magic the Gathering has taught me, specifically, at least in this case, who's the beatdown, paano mo gagamitin yon? Paano ka kapag defensive ka, paano ka kapag aggressive ka, and how do you know your strengths and weaknesses, and how do you leverage that? So that's one thing I learned that I port into teaching strategy or coaching when it comes to, specifically now, MLBB. As well, in Magic the Gathering, there is a format called Limited, wherein you either draft or create decks from a sealed pool, like an opened booster pack, and then you just create stuff. You create decks with the stuff that you get. That helps in MLBB or MOBA drafting too, right? Because when you're playing Limited, you have to make sure that you have a set number of things. You want to have things that attack the opponent. You want to have things that remove your opponent's attackers. You want to have ways to interact with what your opponent's doing. It's the same thing with MLBB and MOBA drafting, right? You want to have crowd control. You want to have a way to push. You want to have wave clear. You want to have scaling, late game damage. So it's the same. Parang you're thinking of the essentials and you're thinking of how will I make sure what I'm doing works and if I have the elements to do that. It's the same from Magic the Gathering Limited and MLBB or MOBA drafting. Those are just a few things that I've taken and picked up from Magic when it comes to learning about strategy. And so far, I'm still learning. There's still a lot that we can pick up. And that brings us to the next thing that is essentially fundamental when it comes to a card game is taking turns. And it's in this realm where we're going into both multiplayer and 1v1 formats of Magic that I learned how to make the most of that turn. I learned how to listen and pay attention to details, which is also very important in broadcast, right? So in Magic, when it's your turn, you get to do most of the things, but you can also react when it's not your turn. You can look at what your opponent's doing. You can note down what they have, what they're doing, and what it looks like they're trying to do. And then you can, when it's your turn, take that into consideration so that you can react appropriately. It's the same way on broadcast. When it's my turn to talk, I get to bring in the narrative, the play-by-play, and then I throw it back to my partners. I listen to what they say, and that allows me to build up on what I'll do next, or what I'll say next, where the story is going for this current game. So it's the same way. Not just for broadcast, but even in conversation. Being a Magic player, or any card game, actually, you get to pay attention to what your opponent's doing on their turn. You listen to what the other person is saying, you pay attention, you pick that up, and then you go from there. And now that we've gone into the concept of conversation, it brings us to possibly, for this video at least, my last big takeaway or learning from Magic the Gathering, and that's in the realm of socializing. When you walk into a game store, or your LGS, your local game store, half the time, like, you don't even know who you're gonna see there. Half the time, hindi mo alam kung anong klaseng tao ang makikita mo doon. Like, what kind of people are playing here, who they are, what they do. So, Magic the Gathering has taught me how to respect and interact with all kinds of people. You know, like, because we're all here, we're playing the same game, and we've decided to set aside time and invest into this experience. That's a level playing field. So at least on that, we have an understanding. We can go from there. Pag upo mo, you know, you're like, sir, hello po. What round is it? What's your standing? Okay, right, roll the die. Okay, let me cut your deck. There's set rules on how to interact. And that's a nice way to practice social etiquette. And it's the same social etiquette and same rules that govern a lot of interactions in life, right? You don't need a game to teach you all of that in the long run, right? So parang Magic Gathering was my training wheels when it came to interacting with all sorts of people in the outside world, and specifically now here in esports. There's all sorts of different fans of esports, all sorts of different parts of this community, of this industry, and one thing is for sure, kahit hindi pa sila kilala, alam mong they're here because of what we're all taking part in. We're all here because we love this game, because we love what we do, because we love MLBB, or we love the esports community. So that's that. Like, you know, we can go from there. So what do you do? Okay, so how long have you been playing? So, you know, you snowball from there into a conversation, and then that's a lesson I cannot ever trade off for. And, you know, in the realm of socializing, dahil sa Magic, ang dami kong nakilala at naging kaibigan. There's a lot of lifelong friends I've had, and today I keep in touch with because of Magic the Gathering. And I'm sure it's true for a lot of other games, but Magic has been here for almost 30 years. And there are people who met when they were younger, and now they have families, and you know, who knows where we'll be. I picked up Magic when I was in high school, and now I'm a grown-ass man, and I still love the game. I think I love the game now more than I ever did as a kid. So, you know, if you're interested and you want to learn how to play Magic, there's free ways to do it online. And if you want to get into Commander, they release a Commander set with pre-constructed decks. You can get one with a bunch of friends and then go from there. It's worth the experience. You'll pick up a lot, you'll learn a lot. So as we do with a lot of my videos,